Tomorrow night, we will all sit down and watch Manchester United's biggest game of the season so far. I am, of course, talking about Lyon away in the Europa League. Simply putting it, a game which Manchester United cannot afford to lose. We have to stay in this competition because it's all we're playing for at the moment. So the question is, how can United get a result? And to answer that, we need to take a look at Lyon. So the first thing to look at with Lyon is the formation and the starting 11, and it's a little bit difficult to predict, but I think it will look something like this. On paper, it will be a sort of 4-2-3-1 shape, and there are some interesting calls in the lineup. I personally think we will see Tolisso playing in the 10 position to bring a little bit of experience and physicality into a big game, and I think Cherki will start this one just a little bit wider for the fact that, you know, his lack of physicality, try and get it in a wider position because once again you are playing a big game. But that's not the most important thing here. The formation isn't the important thing and neither is the lineup. The important thing is how Lyon actually play. And I tell you, on the ball, they're a really nice watch. There's some really nice players in this team, and let's take a look at how this actually unfolds on the pitch. So we'll start off with the ball out the back. In these areas, Lyon have some really nice technical players. They will often include their goalkeeper in the build-up phase, and I think it might be quite difficult for United to win the ball back here. We know that the United press can be a little bit passive. Often we sort of press with one player less, particularly if Lyon are using their goalkeeper as well. It might be quite difficult for United, so I would imagine Lyon are going to have spells of the ball in this game. The question is, how do they work with that? How do they use the ball? And I think we are going to see a Lyon side that are going to switch to more of a back three. So I think the left back here, Tagliafico, will move a little bit further forward, and at times Maitland-Niles on the right hand side will drop into a back three like this, and this could be the shape that they use. What's interesting though is that they don't stay in this shape, or they sort of do, but the players move about. So for example, here we've got Maitland-Niles playing in the back three, but suddenly in the next moment, we'll see him pushing forward down the right-hand side, the right winger will move inside the pitch, one of the midfielders will drop deeper, and Nemanja Matic will now actually go in between the two centre-backs. So in terms of the shape, it's still fairly similar, but players are moving about into different zones, and that makes Lyon quite difficult to pick up, especially when you combine that with the fact that they have a lot of technicians in the team. So Lyon will be good on the ball. The threat that they will bring is when they start moving the ball out wide and we start seeing double movements. What's a double movement, you may ask? It's when you move twice. So you might move this way and then you go that way, or you might move forwards and then back, or you might move back and then forwards. You're trying to create a little bit of space for yourself. So let's say this player's got the ball here. United wing back is goal side in this position. You've got the ball here. These sorts of players are going to come towards the ball, but they're not just going to come over here and stand still. They're going to make double movements. So this player might pull this way, this player might pull this way, and then the double movement is that they can both then go back inside into the space that they've just created. So let's do that again. They start here. They both move here to open up the space, and then on a double movement, the second movement, they come back inside to attack that space. This is something which Lyon do really well. You can see it in this moment here, combining on the right-hand side with these sort of shoulder drops and changes of direction. The other thing we're going to see is rotations, so not just double movements where you create space, but also players physically moving into different roles like we saw in deeper positions. So once again, let's say the ball is here with the Lyon midfielder, and at the moment it looks okay for United. You know, the centre-back is on the winger here, you've got United connected in this position. Right now, it's quite simple. But what Lyon are really good at doing is moving into different positions to make it tricky for the defenders. So for example, let's just separate these players here. Let's say this player's got the ball, and there's not really a naturally progressive pass into space available for him. But Lyon are going to change that with movements. So someone like this player here, initially holding width on the right-hand side, he's going to move in the field to take this player with him. Then this player is going to drop out here into the space. Now this player doesn't want to follow him because he's scared of leaving space in behind here. So now Lyon can move the ball forward with time. You see what I've done there? It's a really kind of simplistic way of talking about it, but that's how rotations can make space. Lyon have ended up in the same shape here, but because these players have sort of moved and interchanged to get there, they've managed to manipulate potentially the Manchester United defenders to get there. So that is how they can be quite difficult. The other thing they're going to do with their rotations is move in a clockwise fashion. So you take 4 players, or sometimes 3 players, and you move them clockwise. How does that work? So let's talk about this clockwise movement, this time actually on the far side of the pitch here. You've got the left-sided defender on the ball here, and then 3 players in front of him. These players are going to move in clockwise fashion, so they are going that way to get into their attacking shape. Now the way that this works is actually quite simple, but it allows them to get into their attacking structure. So for example, to move clockwise this way, we might see this player here drop into a deeper space, which could potentially drag this defender, or it could drag this defender. We're going to see this player moving clockwise into the space here, which could potentially take the wing back with him, for example, or now attach himself to this defender here. And then we're going to see this player move clockwise around like that. Again, you can see how Lyon are largely staying in the same shape a lot of the time as they move forward, but the players are constantly interchanging, and they're really good. It allows them really effortlessly at times to move the ball forward, because of course, everything I've just spoken about here is happening at like 10 times the speed that I've just shown. When it's happening that quick, it will be really difficult for the United defenders, and Lyon in general have some really nice players. I think if we allow Lyon to control the ball in this game, I think they'll hurt us. So basically, United need to get on the ball and keep it. But can they? So the question there was, can Manchester United keep the ball in this game? And I'm going to start off with a really kind of straightforward answer. Yes, Manchester United can keep the ball in this game because we have some really good players, but also because I think the two structures and the two styles of the teams will actually sort of suit United in possession. So let's take a look at how this works, because for me, Lyon are a little bit passive when they are going forward into these pressing areas. For example, you've got Lacazette up front, not exactly a physical demon. Nemanja Matic in his midfield, his legs are going a little bit, you know. Someone like Cherki, not the most physical or intense player. Almada on the other side, not a physically imposing player. So physically, in terms of intensity, Lyon may just be lacking a little bit, but also the system is passive as well. They often press with one player less, which means there is going to be a free player somewhere. Now we need to consider the Manchester United structure. We know that two centre-backs will split either side of the goalkeeper, this centre-back here and this centre-back here. We will then see the middle centre-back moving up into midfield like this, and this is the shape that Manchester United will go into. How will Lyon press that shape? Well, with a 4-2-4, but quite an interesting 4-2-4 shape, or certainly this is what they've done in the game against Lille. No guarantees it will happen again. We can only kind of base this on what we've seen so far, and this is what I've seen when I've watched Lyon. Two players playing in a double pivot in midfield. The back four stays at the back here, and Lyon press with a front four, which looks a little bit like this. So two almost forwards, and then these two wingers. Now what's quite interesting here though, is the positioning of the two forwards, because normally we would expect these two to be really high on these two players up here, but they actually spend a little bit more time playing on the double pivot in midfield. This is why I think United can have some success in this game, because United don't need to go into that area initially. Initially, we can come into this position here. Now, what tends to happen for Lyon, because they're a player down, but also lacking intensity, and the structure has initially given United time, is they can be pulled apart quite easily. We know the problems with the 4-2-4 because we've seen it ourselves in the past at Manchester United. But I think there is a way in this game for United to pull these Lyon wingers inside the pitch. So as you move the ball here, it will often be this player responsible for coming over. Now if United can find some sort of combination to work the ball there, or this player individually, Lenny Yoro for example, can manipulate the ball and play here, United potentially have space. Now you may think, why has this player got so much space? Well, because Manchester United hopefully can effectively pin the Lyon back four back. We need some pace in the Manchester United attack. So someone like Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho would probably be a good idea to scare those Lyon defenders, to force them back towards their own goal. If we force them back in these areas here with the threat of our pace, then United can have this little bit of extra space here. This can also work on the far side as well though. So let's say the ball is this side, and Lyon do a slightly better job. The winger comes over, the striker comes over, the other striker comes over. This player on the far side now for Lyon has a bit of a problem because they're trying to play in their 4-2-4 shape, like this, the front four, but now naturally there is no one picking up the far side, whether that be a full-back here or a centre-back moving a little bit wider. Again, if United are technically clean on the ball, which is a big if you've seen this football club before, but if we are technically clean, I think there are a lot of ways in which United can play through that first phase of pressure. So it's one thing playing out from the back and moving the ball forward, but can Manchester United actually turn this into dangerous situations? Moments where United are actually threatening, not just moving the ball out from the back, but actually creating chances, particularly when Lyon are in more of their middle shape. Yes, I think we can, and this is why I come into this game with a quiet confidence, because I think this Lyon shape defensively is suboptimal. I think it's a tough shape to use, and also, again, I don't think physically they have the best players. Now, again, I should make it clear that Lyon may use a different approach to this, but this was based on the game that I saw against Lille, their last match, which I thought might be a good game to base it off. Anyway, Lyon will often stay in this 4-2-4 shape. So the question is, how can Manchester United exploit this? Because initially, it's an okay shape. You've got 4 players across the back for Lyon. You've got a double pivot protecting these 2 centre-backs, which is lovely. You've got these 2 in the middle here, seemingly preventing progression through the middle of the pitch. And you've also got 2 wide players that can do their defensive work. Or can they? Not always, not always. First of all, because of the individual characteristics of the 2 wingers, but also because of the structure making life quite difficult for them. I think what United can do here is manipulate the Lyon shape to find space in the middle of the pitch. That's right, United progressing through the middle. I think that's possible in this game, despite the fact that Lyon initially have 6 players in this core here. Why is this possible? Well, if we pin Lyon back, this is again why we need some pace in our front line. We need the likes of Garnacho, Højlund, and whoever this player may be, to squeeze nice and high to try and pin back this Lyon back 4. Lyon will not want to be man for man at the back, so they will likely defend with 4 across there. This opens up opportunities for United elsewhere, because if we now pull our wing-backs really wide like this, we tend to see Lyon players that hold this high position here. The wingers hold this high position initially. They are trying to sort of cut that passing lane there, I feel. The problem is, whilst they are cutting that passing lane there, they're not really dealing with the space behind. This space here is still open, and basically what happens for Lyon sometimes is the midfielders are very aware of that space. So let's take this player here, for example. When the ball is here, he is sort of worried about this space. Obviously, right? Because all it takes is a quick combination and United have space to attack. So this midfielder can become just a little bit worried. The same happens when the ball is over here with the middle centre-back as well. He'll have the ball here, and this player initially is defending the middle of the pitch, but he will just have half an eye on this space here, and the same over here. Just keeping an eye on that space, because the fullback can't get out there, because United have pinned them, and the high winger is too high. It's a fundamental flaw of the 4-2-4 shape. When you don't get it right, these moments happen. Now, like I said earlier, the knock-on effect of this is the space it creates in the middle of the pitch, because these 2 midfielders defend with the wide spaces in mind. And there are moments where you can just actually quite easily, therefore, play through the middle, because the front 2 often seem confused with their pressing, particularly when Cherki plays in there. Tolisso will make it a little bit stronger, a little bit better, but Lacazette still isn't the most intense player. There are moments where actually quite effortlessly you can move the ball through the middle of the pitch, and these midfielders don't come after you. They don't come and jump at you because they're scared of these 2 wider spaces. They hold a little bit deeper. This is where United can now move the ball through the middle of the pitch. These are the moments where United can move from, you know, fairly slow across the back here, moving the ball side to side. Lyon will be happy in their fairly compact shape. But then as you sort of threaten to play the wider ball, forcing these players to stretch a little bit, this is when you can then actually go inside in there. And I wonder if perhaps someone like Casemiro might be good to play this pivot position, because he would have the passing range from there, or perhaps you want Ugarte as a ball retention point, or maybe Bruno Fernandes playing deeper as well. They are all options. Let me know which one you prefer in the comments down below. But I think these are the moments where United can now get on the ball and move a little bit faster through Lyon, because we know that the wingers can then make narrower runs coming inside, and this is when the wing-backs can then get forward to provide the width for the attack. Lyon defend with 4, Manchester United attacking with 5. United can hurt this Lyon team. The big thing for me is for United to try and physically overwhelm Lyon, because I don't think they are good in that area, but also for United to take control of this ball. If United dominate the ball, I think they'll win the game. But that's how I see this. Whoever keeps more of the ball in this match, I think, will go on to win it. That's just my opinion though. I could be completely wrong. We might see a counter-attacking masterclass from one of these sides. But with recent form, I do think it will be the team that keep the ball that hurt the other team's defence more. So those are my thoughts. Those are my predictions. With all of that in mind, we will be live tomorrow morning creating a Manchester United 11 to expose these exact problems. So hopefully I will see you there for that. Get notifications on so you don't miss it. But apart from that, we are finished for today's video. United need to get a result in this game, whether that's a win or a draw. And I'm quite confident. I think Lyon are amazing on the ball, but defensively, a little bit weak. But yeah, apart from that, we're finished. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the video. And as always, I will see you in the next one.